As I attempt to gather some more perspective on the current global situation, at the moment our planet is undergoing a massive shift that remains to be altogether very fluid at the moment. Notwithstanding, I will try my best to throw it into sharper focus as I continue to organize my historical reference points that will hopefully allow us to gain a more clear impression on exactly what the global chaos, civil conflict, political intrigue, and the epochs of history once again began to repeat themselves as ever they often do. We love to use the expression that to study history we can be sure to avoid the mistakes of the past and find more advantageous ways from which to face the epic conflicts occurring all over the world. But I am not surprised to look around and see the utter failure and all that important platitude of studying history as not to repeat the same mistakes. Unfortunately for the world, this is nothing new, and our planet, as always, has once again fallen asleep as though we have had a collective amnesia, and our present age is totally under and all out an attack with impunity from every facet of our modern dystopian civilization, if we can even call it that. It appears to me that all important lesson to study history has once again been lost to our present world. There is nothing new under the sun. Once again it has been lost, and everything that has been done will be done again. This current state of affairs around the world sadly has been unfortunate reality since the earliest of human civilization. The only difference between the past and our present conditions is because the globe has, over the course of many centuries, finally homogenized itself into a crisis that we have always been witness to from the historical records. Only today it appears that global humanity is for the first time in history having to face the horrifying chaos head on as a species and not an isolated from geographic location to one to another. The world we have made for ourselves through the technology and man's advancement is all at once a blessing and its greatest curse. We as a global community do not have the luxury of turning away from the unpleasantness that is a 24/7 in-your-face attack from every side with impunity, and we will now at every short period of time finally cross the threshold between what we were once had and what we might finally become. In academic historic terms, we would call this in present age crisis the end of an age or the end of an epoch, much like this last such age in 1787 when the French Revolution popped off and subsequently over the next 200 years transformed the entire planet into a newly what we now understand as our modern world. The modern world was the culmination of what was historically understood as a product of the Age of Enlightenment. The 200-year period up until 1787 when the French Revolution kicked off, we termed the period as the Age of Enlightenment. The biggest, most transformative event in modern history is universally known as the French Revolution because a consequence of that one event, the great writers of the Age of Enlightenment would finally find the realization they had all along been working to accomplish, and the catalyst that would bring that age into an end and radically rearrange the entire planet as a result was that French Revolution. Academic historians will agree there has not been any event since the French Revolution that has dramatically transformed our world from one age into this age we are currently in and have been since the moment in 1787. Now we stand at the precipice of a global cataclysm the likes we have never seen in history of man. Empires and revolution, economic catastrophes, wars and pandemics, yes, of course, history is filled with them, nothing but. But the events that we have been occurring all along throughout the globe, only now we are entering into something altogether different that anything in our world would have ever confronted. As we continue to spiral out of control all over the world, we are having to meet all the events all at once from every corner of our world. There is no place that is untouched by the ever-worsening events that continue to take us all without what seems to be any possibility of a light at the end of the dark tunnel we are now so completely consumed by. The old traditional foundations of leadership and power are coming unglued with an ever-increasing weary people in every corner of our world. The events are nothing so much as unusual as much as they are occurring all over the world at the very same time. This is what is quite new to the world of human beings. We are being challenged to meet the moment of the do or die, and there is nowhere, anywhere among us that rich or poor, free or bond, young or old, can escape the onslaught of a massive geopolitical shift we have just entered into. As I stated already, these things are nothing new to our world. It's only that the world never had to confront the magnitude of what we are facing all at the same time, and instead of an incremental shift over the course of centuries and ages past, this, as I have already stated, is the end of an age or an end of an epoch, and it began some 235 years ago with the French Revolution to evolve into what we are today. Our modern world is a testament to that reality, and for the majority of history, we can safely say that since the very beginning of human civilization, we have had many such periods of evolution for our world, and we can identify the very specific events that were the catalyst of epochs that ultimately, for better or for worse, over many centuries subsequently, such events we found the world emerge from one age to the next, and so it goes. The problem with our present condition is that we are being forced to face the cataclysm all at the same time as one single global human race. This is the beginning of something our world has never confronted before, and the unknown elements, as it seems to be moving at a supersonic speed, so much so that the crisis we are facing seems all the more frightening. The unknown is always scary and is often tragic, but unfortunate for us, it is just the luck of the draw that we are having to confront and negotiate an ever-crumbling for our society as the old structures and paradigms are being torn down and we blindly attempt to erect new foundations and implement alien ideas in an effort to find some resolution to the events that we never had to prepare for. The civil mass hysteria is at an all-time high, while the old power structures are suddenly no longer capable of offering us any sense of direction. Consequently, we are living in a state of massive fear. Man's fear is unfamiliar with and instinctively lashes out to attack it in his effort to understand what it is. Humanity is being confronted with a collective sense of uncertainty because the old ideas and the ways in which we have been so accustomed to are being brought into sharper focus for what they really are. What they are, as you ask, they are unrealistic ambitions being projected outwardly as a collective backlash of misguided identity crisis due to the past 80 plus years of generational mass hypnosis that is suddenly beginning to crack open to the unveiling of the truth behind what we once were told was reality, but now that reality no longer holds any meaning for our collective will. So as a consequence, we enter the world as waking up to the truth of what the reality and truth really is, and in that process we will unfortunately have to work through the critical mass that will first have to emerge before we will be in a position where enough of us will find transcendence through selfishness instead of the present state of mass selfishness. When we step back and observe the world as it really is instead of what projecting onto it that we believe it to be, the species will surrender to the idea of service to others as the path to just and a worthy activity. To bring ourselves together as a race of people without distinctions of labels and identities that must be passed upon our chest to further divide and control us by technocrats and bureaucratic organizational components that are designed from the outset to do that very thing, to continue to exercise its will upon the selfishness of man who will willingly surrender his freedom and life itself for the sole reason to have the right of a distinction of himself from others. It matters little who the others are, it's only that this us-them mentality we have been led to believe is a normal and necessary evil that must be violently attacked for no other reason than it can come into contact with it. This is number 4. This is actually number 5 in a series that I have been attempting to organize from the last 38 years of recent past history in American geopolitical affairs at the presidential level, beginning with the Ford and Carter administrations in the mid-70s, going through into the Reagan Revolution, H.W. Bush years, connections to the Clinton crime syndicate, in which H.W. Bush plays an incredibly central role in organizing the proposition for Clinton to ascend to power. And I elaborate on that extensively in series number 3 in the H.W. Bush years, and for Clinton administration. I also elaborate at length as to how and what those connections were, and much of which it's quite possible and most probably that you do not probably know those reasons in any great detail, because the propaganda media and basic understanding of the ordinary citizen of this nation being dumbed down to a memory of a goldfish and an intellectual capability of less than that, due to an ongoing disintegrating empire, the American empire, from, like I said, 38 plus years ago, right around, we most consider it to be the 1972 Wade versus Roe Act of the abortion law, was Supreme Court nomination ordered for legalizing abortion in the country. And if you operate from a spiritual context, and I'm only presenting this for the sake of the fact that I can offer a pattern of events that have, for whatever purpose, for whatever you take it for, whether it be for you believe in the biblical narrative or what God is attempting to do, or if you don't, one thing's for sure, the pattern that is established from 1972 that I'm getting ready to elaborate and illustrate for you is undeniable. It's incredibly, insurmountably undeniable, or it's the biggest coincidence and luck of the draw that could ever be. First of all, before I begin to elaborate on what that pattern is, let me just first say that the number 7 is, in spiritual context in the Bible, considered the number of God, the number of completion, and the number of judgment. So 7s are incredibly important for those 3 particular reasons. In the Bible also, there are 3 abominations, which are sins that cannot be forgiven but are worthy of death. 1, killing your baby, abortion. 2, idolatry, that's anything given worship to above the heavens, sea, or the earth. That's anything at all. A bed, clothes, a pillow, a dresser, a fan, it's everything and anything. A cross around your neck, all things. Yeah, is an idol. Okay, that's just what it says. I'm only offering you what the book says. You do not have to believe these things. I'm not insisting that you do. It's not important at all for people to believe whatever I believe or whatever I don't. I'm not suggesting that I do. I'm only suggesting that this is incredibly intriguing information that needs to be looked upon from the context of the fact that it's unavoidably like in your face. And these abominations are apparently still actively in operational construct as far as consideration of salvation in Christ. The third one is homosexuality. It is also considered an abomination worthy of death. I am a homosexual. I'm gay myself, so this is something that bothers me tremendously, and I do not know the answer for this. I do not have a particular answer at all. I have no clue. All I know is that that's what it says, that's what it is. I know that I have my own spiritual beliefs, but it has nothing whatsoever to do with anybody else, and I don't need to elaborate what they are. But I have, difficulty with that one, obviously, and there are many people out there that I'm sure also do. But one thing I will say is, many of you probably do already have some chance or cause to know me in some rather not very specific good occasions, because my hateful brothers collectively are attempting and have done an incredibly good job because of their collective abilities that I do not have anymore, because of something that occurred well beyond and before time even began. But we've been doing this forever, so this is nothing new, only it's just this time I've lived a lot longer than I ever did in the past, and they happen to be a little bit concerned because things are not quite working out so well for them this time, and that's because I've been learning to find new ways of wielding my own power against them. It's just now that, as they attempt to destroy my credibility because they cannot kill me, which was the first objective. That's not a possibility. So my big brother, being the most incredible genius that among them and most powerful of them all, is a creative ingenue, brilliant beyond belief. He is incredibly powerful and big and has plans of enormous consequence that I am incapable of confronting, but I have some other necessarily capable qualities that allow me to operate effectively against him, because there is a weakness that he does have that is not directly indicative or involved with his plans. Those are brilliant always, but it's just that when he's in charge, and right now he happens to be, because my other brothers are absolutely not capable of doing what he wants, so he's decided to eliminate them altogether because he cannot deal with the fact that nobody can execute his plans properly. So he's taking over all operations completely by himself, alone. He's going to do this on his own because he is not afraid of me, unlike the rest of them. He's too big, and so therefore he doesn't fear me. And I understand that. He doesn't fear me, and I don't fear him really that much because he's got great ideas. It's just that he can't execute them very well because his personality is so fucked. And I've known him since before time began. Our personalities have never changed. It's like a fingerprint. Angels and people and humans are the same way. You can't change yours, and neither can angels, neither can God. The Bible says, I am God, I cannot change, and I will not change. It doesn't say that I will not change, meaning, oh, there he is, he doesn't want to change. No, it says I cannot change, meaning he cannot change his personality. It is blah, 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 blah. Justice, then long-suffering, then vengeance, then mercy, then jealousy, then love, like that. That's exactly the order in which his personality is. We know him for sure. That is who he is, and he does not change, and he never will. So we are the same way. Our fingerprint personality has been since when we did what we did to this very day. Even though I'm not an angel, I'm a human now. They are the same in respect to their personalities. That's how we know each other. They can show up in any form they want. They still have their ability. Their incarnation or their name means nothing to me. But I know how to identify them because I can speak to them for 5 minutes and instantly identify who I'm speaking to. The Spirit will remind me of who it is just by speaking in words, because heaven, or where we come from, home, is an invisible dimensional reality. God is an invisible spirit, hence the second commandment against idols. That's why he can't handle idolatry. It's an object of some kind, and he cannot do that. This God can do anything, absolutely beyond belief, ubiquitous power, so big that he cannot put himself into any form or object, and therefore he's raging with fury. Because if he could, we could worship him on an idol and he'd be happy, but he can't. So why would his heaven, or where we come from, be a visual experience? It's not. You hear things. It's auditory, like bats. Angels hear. They don't have eyeballs. They can incarnate into a human being and have eyeballs. But as the regular spirits, like we are, and you are too, human beings, we're all just spirits, but we're encased in a body, then we're supposed to decode through hearing, not through vision. But you see how the eyeballs are located right here, directly connected to where? The brain, but where? In the very center of the pineal gland. This forces you, the moment you open them, light enters and bam, you decode your reality. Instantly, you're forcibly made to do it that way, so you cannot do it auditorily, even unless you are blind. In this case, you can, and they do it rather well. Bats don't have a problem. They fly, they make their nests, they feed their children. There's no problem. They just, okay. So heaven, or what home, whatever you call it, is not diamond buildings and gold streets, at least not what we came from. It may very well have changed because I've never been back and neither have they. And I'm sure many, many changes have happened and I have no clue. But when we were there, it wasn't that. It was hearing and auditory things forever, music all the time. We spoke Enochian, so we would hear the words in speaking the language, and we know the Spirit that speaks to us just by speaking to them. I know instantaneously who is speaking to me and what they're about. That's just easy. It's not hard at all. But just because it's a non-visual experience does not at all mean that you cannot see things. This is a paradise that you cannot possibly, with your human capabilities, wrap your mind around what it actually is. I just cannot tell you enough that I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Call me Jesus freak all day long. I wear it with a badge of honor, because guess what? My brothers are hysterical to stop me. But you have to ask yourself the question, why? What would the reason be that they are so beyond enraged with trying to make this happen against some nobody human from nowhere after 20 fucking years, and I'm still standing still? They can't get it done. Which was to do what? Kill me. Couldn't do it. Moving forward. Next. Move the seal. Can't do it. Moving forward. What next? Destroy his credibility utterly. Make him into a puppet. Anything. Nobody can believe a word he says. Why? Why? Because they know, and I know, and somebody else, they know, that in the future, because you can know the future too, and these are the things that they are terrified and are attempting to desperately stop from getting me to reveal that information to all of you. Not just that, but how to call money, how to get rid of illness. There's lots of different things that people can do. Human beings have the ability to do all of these things. And you just don't know because they've been keeping you down forever. And I happen to be in a position and the only one of all of them that will do because I'm told that I must, or I'm not going home and nothing is going to stop me. They want to go as bad as I do. They can lie all day long and say that they don't, take you all to hell with them, and I couldn't care less because I am selfish. Yes, I deceive and I'm a liar a lot of times, and yes, I get fucked up. Yes, I'm disobedient, but so fucking what? Because I do other things that you know nothing about that gives me the mercy and the protection that I've had, and I will keep you that very much. And they are running scared to death, do not know what to do because they want to pull me down with them. Because why? It's not fair. You did it, we did it too. And they're right, it's not fair. I was part of it also. So what? God told us it's not about fairness, it's about justice, his number one quality, and it's not ours, it's his. So get over it with your fairness bullshit. Like I have a fair life, like this is fair to me, doing this to me is fair. It's turning me into a puppet or a robot just because you want the world to see me that way. I'm not humiliated. I don't have to be. I know who I am. Thank you very much. I know what I can do. I know what I'm about. And I don't have to prove it to anybody. But I will do my best to resurrect my own person. If you see me jacking off, if you see me doing drugs, if you see me doing anything like that, then guess what? I confess. So what? I'm not at all ashamed of any of that. Why would I be? I couldn't give a fuck. I keep my computer on 24/7 just so that you do have full access. I want this, but ask yourself, do you know why? No, because I am a brilliant, hugely, very old, intelligent, capable spirit in my own right. And I have not been doing this for 20 fucking years just to let these motherfuckers, my stupid ass brothers, overwhelm me. They can't, and they're fucking pissed. And this is all that it is. My big brother is going to keep trying. That's okay. I know it. We're never going to end. That's fine. We have our own personal relationship. It isn't always conflict. We do spend times alone when we speak to each other about, our relationship, because we did once love each other. And I do not hate them. And I don't think that they should be punished. This is not me I don't have authority, people. You need to get that. I don't have nothing. I am nobody. I am a servant, and that is it. And if that's allowed, I only can pray. I have never been promised a thing of any kind of redemption, salvation, whatever you want to call it, by Christ or God. I don't talk to them. Christ, yes, but not God, never. And I do not have a promise of any kind, because that is not what this thing is about. It doesn't work that way, people. I have to obey just like everyone else, and he means all of it. And it does not look very much as though I'm doing that, does it? No, it does not. But I'm not yet dead either, by the way. I have time, and I know what I'm doing. And if these things are already being done, you better believe, because you didn't know me 20 years ago. If you did, you would have seen me just as evil and wicked and hateful as all the rest of my brothers. Because why? We are all the same fucking thing. They are not evil. They are wicked, yes, but we're just the same. We're all gay. We're all musical. We're all this. We're all that. All the connections are there. This is too fucking easy. There's nothing about them that is different from me. So just understand, the difference is that they do not give a fuck because they feel like they're trapped and they don't have an option. I do have an option because I am a human now, and not because I did betray them. And I don't apologize for it, and I'm not going to, because I'm not going to get on board when we just did what we did and got what we got and do it all over again. So if you think that that's something that you can't deal with, then fucking go and rot in the fucking oven. If you don't believe it, then that's fine. Believe in fairy tales, but fairy tales don't help. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to try to save nobody, because only person that I'm interested to save is me. Selfish as always. That's it. That's what I told my brothers when they said that I betrayed them. I said, motherfuckers, I didn't betray you. I couldn't be bothered to think to hurt you or to help you when I did what I did. I could think only of myself as always selfish, and that's it. That I'm getting the fuck out. And you should have done the same fucking thing, so shut the fuck up about who and what I did. I didn't do nothing to you. Fuck off and die, because you can fight me all day long, but you're never going to win, because I do have the option. And so help me God, until the day I die and there's breath in my body, I will do whatever it takes, because I know what home is and I am going back. You people can believe in the bullshit of this world and think that it's all about this, that, money, this, drugs, and what. You don't matter to me. The world is in the trash can as far as I'm concerned, because I know the real deal. You don't sing on clouds to God. You don't sit there and no. This is a paradise I cannot put into words. Believe that. It is beyond any comprehension, and they know it, and they cannot believe that they are out of the exclusion, and they just want one thing now only, is to stop me from getting there, because they cannot fight, they cannot do anything with them, so it's only me that the target is, and they're just going to have to deal with it, because I'm not losing this option. They don't have it, but I do, and I'm going to try to keep it. I may lose, but okay, anything is possible. The future is always capable of being changed. That's what this game is all about. We're pawns on the chessboard, and upstairs has a big power, and my brother has a big power, and both of them are looking into the future, the distant future, and seeing things. They want to change it or they want to keep it, and one side works this way and the other that way, and then the people on the earth are either working on one side or the other, and then half the people on the earth are not on either side, and in that case, either side will hijack anybody that they want. They don't take possession of them like spiritual, like making them do things like robots. It's called spiritual possession of the mind, where either side will simply jump into a person who happens to be advantageous for their purpose, and let's say that the person happens to be in X spot, and all he needs to do is unplug the light bulb. So spirit jumps in his brain and just starts to suggest for the individual to go to unplug a light bulb, and so he does, and then bam, it's done. He jumps out, now he's finished. That's all he was used for, just because the larger job had to be done for that light bulb to be poured out. It's stuff like that. But no, it's not about possessing a person and like taking control of their body. Spiritual possession of the mind happens on both sides, good and bad, all over the planet, in every human being on earth. I have demons in me at this very moment. Every person on earth has demons in them, disembodied spirits, but they are not possessing me. They do not control my body and my actions. I still have full authority over all my decisions. It's me. They're there because they cannot incarnate. They don't have enough power to incarnate into a human form, and they feel like shit like we do. So when I eat, they feel it. When I drink, they feel it. When I do drugs, they feel it. When I shit, they feel it. Got it? So that's why they're there. But there are other demonic entities that I also have that are there and have been there for some very, very long time. And once they're in, getting them out is an entirely different story, which is very much a part of what this homosexual thing is and why it happens to be something that is critically important. I cannot understand it fully myself, and I don't claim to, and I'm not going to put anybody in a position except to say that to my fellow homosexual gay men out there, please believe me, you are not excluded from salvation. You are loved. Indeed, you are. Nobody cares that you're a homosexual and that you should have to burn for that. If you decide that this activity, by being fornicating with whoever and whenever you want, outside, you cannot be married to another man. That's illegal. Our country made the declaration in 2015 for men to get married, second abomination, now authorized by the country, the nation's government. There are three: the abomination of idolatry. We have buildings in New York City with Kali, the god of India, projected onto the building. Idolatry. All three abominations are occurring in the country. So now I'm going to lay out for you the 7-year cycle that started in 1972 and the downward disintegrating corruptive trend that has now consumed the empire of America and is now falling to pieces as we speak, and Trump is attempting with everything that he has to use his presidential power, if he has any at all, to try his best to put it back together. But I do not see light at the end of the tunnel. I see a hand of judgment come across our nation. And here it is. 72, the abortion law. 72, Roe versus Wade. It's now legal in the law of the land. Now abomination number 1 is operational. Count 7 years from there. What do you got? 79, oil embargo, hostage crisis. Oh my God, big time problems. Next, 7 years after, 1987, Black Tuesday, stock market crash, bigger than the 29 stock market crash, only Glass-Steagall prevented a Great Depression. Oh shit, but major financial calamity. 7 years later, from then to 94, dot-com bubble bust, biggest, even worse than the last financial crisis, than the Black Market Tuesday of 87, 7 years after which, that's the dot-com bubble bust. Again, financial smackdown the nation on financial shit. Yes. Next, 7 years later, oh my God, terrorist attack, towers down, markets open, 7, close the markets, hysterical, oh my God, because of the economic indicator. They didn't see the spiritual indication, but it said 7. That means God, completion, judgment, towers down, indication, markets go up at 3:30, everything's fine, it's back operational. 7 years from there, 2008, equity freeze, complete, full-on economic nothing. The patient is dead, and they are attempting to shock it back to life with quantitative easing and adjusting the national prime rate to 5.5 to 0% interest rate so they can massively inject print into the larger economy to assist its recovery. This is not a fix. It's only more disastrous, and thank God for it, because it's put the Federal Reserve in a corner that they are now incapable of getting their way out. And so now our country, being in the crisis that it is economically, and it is on the cliff, my God, you have no idea. But that bank needs to save its bank, and they only care about that bank. If it was the country that was in the problem and they weren't, then we could expect no assistance from them. But because their bank is under threat at the same time, it looks very much like within the next 6 months, I will predict Janet Yellen will be replaced as Fed chair, because she's attempting to tighten the rate by 0.25% every quarter. She's doing it by 25 basis points. This is 0.75% so far, but she cannot tighten the rate at this moment because of the economic reverberations that are already occurring in the nation's economy are starting to shake. But the issue is that she's not stupid. She understands economics, and so do I. The rate must be moved up from the 0.75%. It's got to go up to 4.5 minimum to put a pillow in the face of the brick that's going to hit us, so we don't fall down and we can be okay. But it's an incredibly dangerous proposition for the Fed to tighten the rate at this moment. She's only thinking of her bank, but her back is against the wall because they overreached with the bailouts. But thank God for it, because now when she's replaced, I assume, they will take a different position on monetary policy and work with the Trump administration, who just got, thank you very much, the House finally did pass the very first of the largest major tax overhaul that we've had since the Reagan administration, and this is a very big deal. Next, we have to wait to see if the Senate will do the same. This is a proposition that I don't bet on. I hope by a miracle that it will do it, but we can only afford to lose 2 GOP senators on this vote that will make the difference if it passes or if it fails. The entire Democratic DNC is opposed to the tax overhaul in the Senate, and it's 50-50 almost exactly with the vice president to do the tiebreaker. If Susan Collins and Murkowski decide to not do it like they vow that they won't, that's GOP senators that say that they'll vote against it, then that we will lose, except that the vice president can make the deciding vote and it will pass. So cross your fingers and hope to God that this tax package does in fact get through the Senate. The House bill is already substantial enough because the VAT tax has been reduced from 30 to 20. Amen. This is a huge deal. It's going to bring massive amounts of employment back to the country, lower the unemployment rate, bring trillions back into the larger economy. That alone will do that. But the Senate overhaul bill is critical all the same. So cross your fingers. Hopefully they will get it done. I can't believe that the House actually did this before Christmas. But if it doesn't happen before Christmas, maybe they'll come back after Christmas and do it then. But I don't think so, because primary mode and the midterm elections are coming up in 2018, and they're both waiting to see how it's going to go. If the Dems get that majority in the House, they will move to impeach Trump. There's no question. They definitely will do that. But nobody's going to take the Senate out of Republican hands. That's not going to happen. The House is a possibility that the Republicans may not achieve a supermajority, but it does not look very much like that they're going to lose the majority altogether. So let's hope that they don't, even though many people out there feel like the conservative right wing are all like, for the wealthy and this and that. But I'm afraid you don't understand how economics work, and that's the reason why you're all like, yes, Bernie Sanders, we want $15 a minimum minimum wage. No, you cannot have that, or Obama's collectivism, that we all get free phones and everybody lives off the government. Yes, let's do that. We'll live like Venezuela and eat the zoo animals because we have nothing to eat. Oh, pray to Victor Hugo so you can get cereal in the morning. Yes, that is collectivism. That is communism. That is the 8 years of fraud and the tyranny of Obama, in which case I will be releasing my video is segment number 6 in series, all about Mr. Obama and Hillary and every single detail of what they were all about. So please watch my videos. Here we go on the cycle. 2001, towers down. 2007, equity freeze. Oh my God, massive, massive problem. Next, 7 years later, what do we have? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 2015, nothing happened. Wow, silence. Oh wow, big, something's wrong, because the gay marriage law was enacted in 2015. 3 abominations are now legalized by the authority of this government. Hand of judgment is upon us. 777 revealed it at the 2001 tower incident, that the completion of judgment is now occurring. 2016, nothing happened. Here we are, 2017, what happened? Hurricane 1, bam. Hurricane 2, bam. Wildfires in California, bam. Hurricane 3, bam. Oh my God, massive, massive economic financial crisis, bigger than any so far yet. The first, last, the one before. They get bigger, 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 bigger. It's warning us, warning us, warning us. Get right. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Stop. Wake up, wake up. That's God. That's the long-suffering quality that he has. He'll wait and warn, wait and warn, wait and warn, and see if we turn back. If we don't, it's the end of the empire. You are witnessing it as we speak. This is what it looks like to live in the death throes of an empire. Empires have come and go all throughout history. The ancient world to the modern world, there is no difference at all in the way this happens. Empires come up and they begin to become debauched, and the next generation start to lose it. It's almost the same case all the time. And in the case of Rome, we can illustrate it through the Senate and the oligarchs that they became. And then Caesar introduced himself as dictator, and then what happens? They murder him on the Senate floor. Now, what's happening in Washington, D.C.? Trump. He's an existential threat. What kind of threat? Not a political one. They can deal with that. They are hysterical, throwing everything in the mass media to the public to make him, destroy him. Everything about his credibility, undermine it. Anything that he says, he's a joke, he's this, he's that. Just the same way my brothers are doing to me. Anything at all to turn me into a puppet, a clown, whatever it takes. But the public, unfortunately for the politicians and oligarchs in Washington, are not buying the bullshit. No. The media will make you believe it if you read and listen to it, but the mass majority of the people in this nation do not buy it. Thank you, Lord. And that's what I'm doing too. My brothers are doing the same thing to me. I'm an existential threat to them, and they are attempting to destroy my credibility because of what is going to happen in the future, whereupon I will be releasing all of this secret information that all of you will be interested to have, because you'll feel like you're magical or something. But it isn't magical anything. It's just normal, regular stuff that you've been keeping down from because they don't want to let you have it. And they don't want you to still have it, and also because they cannot go, and they don't want me to go. And all of these things may actually turn your belief system over to something other than what you already have, which might be nothing at all, in which case you're going nowhere. So I'm not here to preach. Please don't think that. I don't want to do that. That's not my purpose. This is all for the very specific purpose of instructional, political, geopolitical, historical, absolute, real reality, and all that it is. So I just showed you the pattern. The 2 years of nothing, and then the 2017 smack, bigger financial crises. I can't answer the reason for the 7-year cycle taking a 2-year hiatus, except for the fact that there was a Jubilee year in 2016, and that happens every 50 years in the Jewish calendar, and God does not do those things during the Jubilee year. And the Shemitah cycle is when he turns over all debts and erases the sledge, which could have been the 2016 year from 2015-2016, those 2 years, and now he's back at it. 2017, more warnings, but do we have another 7 years to go before we take another smackdown, before this place falls to pieces? I don't think so. So I'm going to finish up. This is 38 minutes long. This is going to take me just a couple minutes. This is an examination that spans back to at least 38 years of presidential power. The beginning of this series explains the 70s from the Carter administration with the direct communications of H.W. Bush, and subsequently how he connects to Bill Clinton to secure the 92 presidential election. This was political intrigue at the various highest levels of our government. To say nothing about the pedophile rings and abuse of children within the ranks of the elected officials, we are only going to examine the obvious criminality from which we can prove and articulate. We will do so with 7 videos, each demonstrating the administrations of Carter, Reagan, Bush 41, Clinton, Bush 43, Obama, and finally the Trump phenomena. Please take careful consideration to watch these videos, because I am quite sure you will be interested to know some very ambitious, power-hungry political maneuverings and understand the real reasons from which these Congress and presidents never fulfill their promises. You will be surprised to learn that it's not exactly for money, as most people have mistakenly believed. Everything is not about money, especially about these men. It's always about power and keeping it. People need to understand what power is and why this is the most passionate vice above anything else. The problem with understanding why this means is that you need to first have an experience of your own power to understand its addiction. If you never had any power of your own, you will likely be addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, and all of the other ordinary vices most people are engaging in. Power can come in many ways and forms. It matters little difference what it might be, only that you have experienced it for yourself. Once done, your addiction to getting more of it will never be for anything other, and these people have had an incredible amount of it, so they drive to keep it as all the more audacious. They will not allow anything at all, whatever the cost, to prevent them from keeping that power, no matter who it is that might have to pay the price. All of them are exactly the same in this regard, and such is the reason why Washington is filled with a cesspool of oligarchs interested in keeping themselves in power but necessarily it is a foregone conclusion they will help each other to do the same, because it is a game of power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, and whatever it takes to keep it, they will do it. That means that the party system is a fraud, and nothing more than the damn people are collateral damage, so much as it allows them to maintain that power. 40 minutes in, I'm going to stop this. I hope that this was informative, and I will release the the fifth video of the George W. Bush administration probably within the next week, then Obama administration the following week, and then Trump the following week after that. Hope that you watch it, hope that it was engaging, and I hope that you can maybe take some consideration to observe who and what I have been projected to be by my hateful brothers, and understand that I'm not denying any of it. I confess whatever you may have seen, it's probably true, but who really fucking cares? If you've seen me jacking off and taking hits of crystal, I'm a drug addict. I confess that, so what? Am I supposed to be damned and going to hell? Do you know what they do? Are you kidding me? My fucking filthy ass brothers, they stick objects so large as street cones up their butt. And goddammit, and like more and more and more, and shove needles of crystal meth all day long to do it longer and longer. It's like aerobics. They tell me, "Oh, don't you want to join? Isn't it fun?" I'm like, "My God, you look like it's work. Are you kidding me? I don't want to do that. It's exercise. What the fuck are you doing?" And by the way, that little hole, it might not close up if you put that big motherfucker thing in there. You wouldn't like to drop it right while you're walking down the street and like, "Oh, but it feels so good." Well, anyway, I don't care. I couldn't give a fuck. I'm gay too. I'm not judging them for doing what they do. It's just that I don't understand what that pleasure is. I don't claim that they don't have it. They must, because they don't do that for nothing. I mean, I would imagine they're not doing it for no reason. So I assume that the pleasure is real. It's just that I don't understand it. I've tried it, not at that objects, but with people up my ass. So yes, I confess that. This is not a secret to me. People understand that. I am not unaware of anything, nothing at all. My computer being hacked, my image being shown to the world in the puppet state that it is. Every single fucking thing that you've been believing that I've been unaware of, and it's a big secret, you are the ones deceived. I am a master deceiver. That is all that I have been my whole life, a fraud. All my brothers and me are exactly the same. That's why they call me every name in the fucking book. Why? Do I ever say anything back? No, of course not. Why? Because they know me. That's exactly right. That's who I am. They just don't get to know who and what I really am and what I've changed, because I don't show them that. And I don't show you that because you're not worthy to know it. You're engaged in this operation for the reasons that you want to look at me and make me into some jealous operation. I don't give a fuck what you're jealous about. I know that I'm brilliant, and I don't need people to tell me that, and that's not being arrogant. That's just what is. And my brother, as brilliant as he is, he's a creative ingenue genius beyond anything. Yes, that's true, and nobody could be better. I don't claim that, and that's not what my gift is. But I am an intellectual ingenue, and this particular operation that we are engaged in requires my particular objective capabilities, not his. This is not a creative ability from which he can win the conflict. The conflict is not going to be won through that method. And the reason that he's lost all along is because of his stupid, fucked up personality. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to talk about him, not because I'm afraid, but because I don't want to throw it out into the open. I don't have to hate him in the way that he hates me, and I don't. I love him, and I love all my brothers, and I don't believe that they should have to pay anything at all, and I don't. They already paid a price, and it's not me. I don't have the authority to do a thing. I love them to death, and I don't think that they deserve a thing. And I don't give my brother Luce any kind of responsibility for anything that happened, whatever happened. We all did it. It's true. And whatever it was, we were just young, and we didn't know what we were doing, and that's it. That's my position on it. I do not hate them. If I did have hate in my heart for them the way they do for me, I wouldn't be protected. My master doesn't allow me to do that. I have to love them, and I really, really do, because I've known them from beginning of time. How could I hate them? They're not strangers to me. I know them forever. You got to get it. We really, really, truly are what we are. So it's just difficult for you people, half-breeds, my nieces and nephews, and human beings especially, who don't understand the spirit reality of this world. But you will. Eventually, all will be revealed, and I happen to be an instrument of doing that, and my brothers are attempting to stop it. But some things just can't be stopped, because there are greater powers that are on high that he cannot stop. No matter what he thinks he can do, he simply can't. He can run the world, and he can do all that he's been doing forever. But can he move the sun if it gets turned off? No, I don't think so. I'm assured that that's not possible. I know the extent of his power, and I know the extent that Daddy's power is unlimited. In Christ, the Holy Spirit is identical to the same. So this is a no-brainer. It's not about power, people, and Christ is not late. My God, he showed up 5 minutes ago. What are you talking about? He's late. He just got here. Fuck. What are you talking? You are idiots. Oh, he's late. Oh, no, he's not. We didn't know nothing about him, by the way, and that's why he stripped me from the beginning when I did what I did. And it was only by my luck that he gave me the option of salvation, because I was a human being, and that's it. I was not supposed to get this opportunity. Daddy did not ever want to give me that. He was going to throw me right along with the rest of them even after that. I just got lucky, and so I'm taking the option. Anybody can blame me? I don't give a fuck. You people don't even want it because you don't know what it is. I thank God do. I don't have to even think about this. It's easy for me. I can walk around the streets and look like whatever I want. People can talk all day long. I'm crazy, this, I'm crazy. It does not faze me a bit. I know what this is. This is incredible. Like, you have no idea, this paradise. You can do anything at all in this location. So forget about not seeing anything. That's true. But you can by just imagining it, like illustrating it in your own imagination, and then bam, live it, experiencing it. You're doing it. It's all happening just like that. Anything at all. The only thing that we knew that was, and when we were there, that was the rule, was that you just simply cannot keep whatever you create, but you have to change it up because Daddy does. He is a creator. The fourth commandment says his name is God, which is not, it's deity. His office is creator, and that's understatement. My God, is he ever, nothing but, all day, every day, nothing, just never quits. And his territory is the whole goddamn universe. Okay, so there's his seal. It's in the fourth commandment. The Sunday Sabbath, the Saturday Sabbath law, the one that all the Catholic evil church changes, and that's why it says, run from her, my people, the sin of her sins have reached the heights of heaven, I shall utterly destroy him. And by the way, Francis I has already made political agreements with the West Bank Authority, the Palestinian Authority. They signed the papers, it's documented, to move the Vatican to the West Bank and the Palestinian Authority. They've already started excavations to build the new Vatican, because Francis I is already aware that God is going to obliterate the Vatican and destroy it in a very short period of time. We're talking in the matter of the next 5 years. And the Vatican and the hierarchy at the Vatican are aware of this, and they are making plans to build a new Vatican City at the West Bank in Palestine because they're moving. Yes, it's true. Go look it up. I know every single fucking thing and more. I am an information junkie. That's why I'm doing this information for you, Take my word for it. I know every single thing and more from the history of this world and every event there in between. I am a history aficionado of the real deal history. And the reason, particularly for me, that I do know all this is because I've been here all along. I just never knew it. But this life, it was me growing up as a child all alone with history books, doing nothing but, no friends, no TV, just that. I don't know why, just instinctive. But it was easy. I would just do it seconds and seconds, and I just instantly can keep it. And that's because this is what I've been doing, and I know it all. And that's all the reason. But it has been the lifeblood of why I've survived through this, because it's given me the tools from which I can operate. I never, ever am confronted by an opposition or a problem and say, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Never. I always look at anything, no matter what it is, my brothers or otherwise, and I say, I'm going to figure it out. I will find a solution, no matter what it is. They can push me down, fuck me up, but I will get back up and I will figure this out. And I always have. And they know me. They know all about who and what I am, and still they do the dumbest things that they do. But this isn't about that. We'll talk about that another time. I hope you enjoyed it. 50 minutes. Please watch. Bye-bye.